I thought you were just keeping us muted because you were afraid that I would just blurt out and say stuff.
Like
and
right now,
sing
how you're
songs and
blurting out,
stuff.
saying stuff right now. Chris, people probably jam to the opening of the podcast, and we just ruined it right there. We took away their favorite part of the podcast, which is the nostalgia of the music that they look forward to every week. We took that away from those people, Chris. So we better sing it. Here, let's go. We better do it ourselves. Hi, welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. I'm Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford down there, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. And we just recorded like 10 minutes, but I wasn't recording myself. I was only recording Chris, which I suppose Chris talking to himself. Like there's probably way less entertaining.
It's a normal Thursday.
Yeah, that's just how things are. But you missed a nice long conversation that I'm probably not going to repeat, but it was mostly about how baby pee is everywhere and puke is everywhere, and you just kind of get over it at a certain point. And then I have an over the shirt, like quarter zip sweater thin type thing that I just use to cover up all of the baby formula powder and puke and pee or whatever baby things that have gotten all over my shirt during the workday. But I draw the line at poop. And that was the crux of the conversation that they missed. Also, I talked about picking noses, so it was a pretty gross podcast to start off. Maybe it's better that we started fresh. Chris, how you doing, buddy? How are you? I just heard, but nobody else heard.
Can you hear me?
I can. I can't see you, but good. I can hear you.
That's fine. You're not supposed to see me right now. I was looking at something.
That's Chris's goal, is to be just like ever present in your brain, but unseen.
Doing great. So made a mistake last week when we were talking about the casting.
I saw somebody calling us on our crap.
Thank you, I was highly mistaken. Thank you for calling it. Yes. The Igbo, which I always find it hard to say, but so I said George Takei was actually playing the Owlsbury. He's not. He's playing Koa Facehiller, which is even cooler. I knew I was missing something. I was like, there's something missing from that. So he's voicing Ko, the Face Stealer, which would be great.
That is probably a cooler role for him.
I think so, yes.
I mean, I would be happy with him anywhere, but that is a cooler role.
Yeah.
Well, George, I'm looking forward to it. George, when you listen to this podcast, can I call you George? We are excited to hear your voice, as always. And, I feel like you said, did you have another piece of news or another snippet you wanted to read? Or am I making that up?
Nope, that was it.
That was it. Hey, Chris, we've got a cool topic this week. Still going a little shorter because I'm painfully sleep deprived. And, man, I got to get better at taking naps, but different story for a different day. But we've got a cool topic for today, and I was wondering if you would want to introduce it to us.
Yes. So the topic today is, would Avatar be better if it had more deaths? Now, before people get started, like, I understand that they don't have many deaths because of their constraints being a Y7 show on a children's network like Nickelodeon. I'm saying without those constraints, would the show have been stronger if they added deaths here and deaths there? And also, I'm not talking about Game of Thrones levels of deaths. Not like that. Because people... So later at the end of the show, I want to read some people's comments that I've gathered from Twitter and Facebook, some friends of the shows, and because some people like took it really harsh. It almost seemed offended at I just asked the question: would Avatar be better if it had more deaths, more important characters died, something to that effect? And people lost their crap. No one seemed to agree with me. No, actually, I won't say agree with me because I didn't say anything. I just posed the question. And I'm not even sure where I stand exactly on it. I am. Actually, I'll get into it.
We're going to develop that thought live.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the question that we're asking today.
Cool. How do you want to kick it off? Do you want to give us some of the feedback that you heard from the tweet? It sounds like it got some traction relative to our tweets.
Sure, I'll do that first. I'll first go to Facebook because
every time I tweet, you like it, and sometimes Dylan likes it, and then that's my whole tweet. That's my whole tweet range. My whole touch.
That's all you need.
Amen.
So comments under our thing and our actual. So anyway, Caitlin said, "I don't think so." Very short, succinct. So, shout
That's
out to
funny
Caitlin.
for Caitlin because usually she has like good, like thorough discourse. So Caitlin, indulge us. We want to hear it. Thank you
Another
for listening as
person
always.
named Zanny said, "Nope." Person Nathaniel said, "No, it would just be dumb. Why kill important characters?" But let's be real, death does reach these characters. Zhao, technically, he just was taking the spirit world, but way of drowning, I guess. Jet, Pali, the Earth Queen, Amon, Tarlok, Unalog, who am I missing?
Chris, can we
They
say
went on.
are we referencing specific Avatar: The Last Airbender? So, like Zhao, for example, it's not
No,
that he
I think
died, but if we're looking at just Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's like, well, yeah, he was removed from the show.
no. I mean, I meant Avatar or Korra.
Or
So
Korra. Okay, noted.
yeah,
Noted.
yeah. My question was, would Avatar be better if more important characters died? Um, so on Twitter, I got some really interesting conversation from a couple people that let me go to our Twitter page and let me go to so got dang it. So Antoine Bandela, who has his own YouTube channel, a lot of Avatar content on there. I specifically asked him because he is like a legit writer, um, as well as I asked her name is Fran. She has a YouTube channel. She's like, these are like legit writers. They have like books that you can go like get from the library.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like Antoine has like a couple of different. He has like 4 books, I think. Like, he's like my. He's probably younger than me, but
Don't
still
say that,
great.
Chris. That
Um,
just hurts my
yeah.
heart.
Look, that's not the thing. It's not like it's my dream. I never dreamed of being a writer. Anyway, he says. Da, 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 da. Okay, so Fran first said, not necessarily Baylor, but I do think we would feel some of the impact more. I'm thinking of Korra. We have a lot of visual deaths in that show, though mostly for villains, and each one feels impactful. Death can have an impact, but only if it's necessary. I absolutely agrees with that sentiment. You can't just have just like blind death, out there. Um, da, 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 some of the deaths. And then Antoine. Dang it, why can't I find what Antoine said? Oh, Jamie, friend of the show, said, wait, no, that's a Big Brother reference. I have to look at we
I
talk
mean,
about
I
Big Brother a
also
lot.
like her opinions on Big Brother,
Uh,
and I don't even watch Big Brother, but sometimes I'll watch her and your opinions on Big Brother, and I'll feel like I'm a part of something, you know?
yeah. Uh, did I see Antoine's reply at? Dang it, I'm mad at myself that I don't see it. Because it was. I just was it. Yeah, anyway, mad that I can't find it. Wait, no, he quoted it. That's what it is. Gotta look at quote tweets. One person said from Twitter, this question doesn't make any logical sense. It's a non sequitur. Avatar's flawless. It can't be any better, which I disagree with. Um, and I told him that. I said, even Bright doesn't consider Avatar flawless. He's like, and I don't either. He's like, you're wrong. And Bright is wrong too. I was like, okay,
All right.
that's.
Dedication to the game. Listen,
Yeah.
everything could be better. Like, what do you.
Here it is, finally, the quote tweet. So Antoine said, "That's why I think I enjoyed the Kyoshi novels as much as I did, and with the kind of subject matter Atla and LOK play with, significant deaths come with the territory. Without it, it does not make it feel a touch. Without it, it does make it feel a touch diminished in its severity." So that's a really interesting take, which I also agree with that. Um, So, but when it comes to, let's see, where's my? So someone wrote, so you think Aang losing on Facebook? Someone wrote, so you think Aang losing Appa wasn't him dealing with loss because Appa didn't die? That's not what I said. But sure, let's talk about this
Let's talk about
unrelated.
this unrelated thing. He looked like Hitler. Yeah, a little.
And then one person said, "Okay, easy there, George R. Martin." And someone said it's a masterpiece as is. Someone said to me, a lot of other people, Last Airbender was a great show, but different people have their opinions. For people who likes killing, then of course they aren't going to like it because it doesn't show killing. For people who love cartoons, or for people who love the concept and matureness in a cartoon, you're gonna love it. Different people have different tastes, of course. Okay.
Another caveat there, though,
Um,
you didn't say killing, you said death.
true. Yeah.
Difference, right?
And so yeah, so just in general, no one even was like, yeah, it could be better. No one even really shared that thought, except for I think Antoine and Fran, which I think they approach things more in the sense that I think I would approach them in. Oh, I meant to tell you what Jamie said because Jamie had the opposite opinion of me, but of course, I still respect it. But I say me because I'm very in the league here. Jamie said. No, I think for its target audience, it wouldn't make sense. I think it's a great example of how to do an emotional, compelling story without a lot of character deaths. And I absolutely agree with that. I think the show does a great job of having our characters deal with loss, deal with that pain, deal with that uh, emptiness. But it's like it's somewhat removed, right? Because Aang, yes, his people were genocided, but that was like 100 years ago. Tara's mother was killed, but that was like 5 years ago. And the only important character we really see die is Jet, and they kind of gloss over it.
Can Jet
Like they
die
don't really
multiple
bring
times?
up
Because then the story would benefit from more death. If Jet can die repeatedly, that would be.
no. In fact, Jet's alive. I'm saying you heard it here first. Jet's alive.
Jet's alive. He's living in a bunker in Brazil
Uh,
with his wife. He's got it
yeah.
good down there.
For the general sense, most people do not think Avatar should have more deaths in it. Which, hey, that's your opinion. That's fine. But I think some people are looking through it through like rose-colored glasses and thinking of Avatar as being like something that's untouchable. I think the Netflix show has a chance to, I think, add some more depth to it. And so the thing that really got my mind thinking about it is that I was watching Naruto. And in Naruto, I know you're never going to watch Naruto, Shawn. It's okay,
It's too much.
but like,
It's
but
too
like,
big.
there's a lot. So there's a character in the show called the Hokage. The Hokage is like the president of the village. Like they're chosen by everyone loves the Hokage. He's adored. He's the strongest ninja. Well, in the first season or so, the Hokage gives his life and he dies. And then later on in the sequel to the show, well, not the sequel, but later on in the story, one of Naruto's mentors dies, and then this other character dies, and you see the characters like I was watching the funeral scene, and everyone talking about how great of a person he was, how his sacrifice meant so much, how much he loved the village, and how he would not hesitate to give his life. I was like, this is missing. And you see these characters sulking around like for a while. Like they're not just like, okay, we gotta get going to the next thing. They are letting that loss sit with them and weigh them down. Especially Naruto Shippuden. There's this character who's like not even he's an important character, but he's like the teacher for another group of side characters, not even the main characters, and he dies. And like those his students take it really hard. Like you see one of them just like there's this really great scene with this character named Shikamaru. He's playing this chess game ish like game with his dad. He's just like so lethargic, just putting the pieces down. And his dad is like, and Shikamaru hasn't let himself feel those emotions. And his dad is like, you're gonna have to eventually. And they're just going back and forth, moving these chess pieces. They're two like brilliant strategist type of characters. And he's like, you're gonna have to feel these emotions. And and if you have to do it behind closed doors, that's fine. But you gotta let it out. And then in the game, his dad goes, he closes the door. And right as he closes the door, Shikamaru just like he just lets out this emotion. You see it, you just hear him crying. And like, I am not getting I haven't experienced that in Avatar of a character. dealing with that grief and that loss immediately after losing someone. And it's something that's so relatable. We've all lost people in our lives, and you go through this time of being uh rudderless without direction. You're just not even all the way there. And and this isn't a loss that you can go out and find them. Like, yeah, Aang losing Appa was huge and it was big. And to me, that was the way the Nickelodeon could have handled that type of story element without killing a character off. But when someone's out of your life and they're gone forever, like it hits hard, and there's nothing you can do. Like there's no search going forward. You just gotta deal with it. And eventually, you come around and you build that resolve. You see what their life was really about. You think about all that they've given you, all the sacrifices they made, and you find that strength to work through these things. And I think that's one element that is
Nice.
missing from both shows. You don't see characters dealing with it. There's something very powerful about a funeral scene. So I was thinking about like what other stories like Avatar, pretty much every story I can think of has this, right? Harry Potter has Dumbledore dies, Snape dies, all these other people die, and characters have to deal with it to a certain extent. And uh, so yeah, I think Avatar would be stronger if characters died, if if we see the characters that they love deal with it. Like there are so many times that because I was thinking about the constraints of the show had with the Y7 rating, that I thought Ira was gonna die or Hakoda was gonna die. Sokka and Katara's father, or a couple other people might die, but not that many important people. Oh, Korra's dad. I thought Korra's dad was gonna be killed when he faced against the Red Lotus, and I thought those would have been some really those have the opportunity to be really strong moments. I think the Netflix show might take advantage of. It's a little more. I think it might venture into that territory. Anyway, so long story short, my answer is yes. It could be a stronger story if more important characters die. Not a lot. Not Game of Thrones. Definitely not Game of Thrones. I'm talking like three, maybe three characters die, and the characters have to sit with it. Two or three.
I so never say never, right? Could be better with more deaths, could be better with less deaths, whatever. I'm gonna say Avatar: The Last Airbender. No, not because of constraints. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch anything about the show that could affect the breadth of its audience. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't risk it. One of the things I like about it is that it has a massive potential audience. I also think you're underselling the genocide. It's removed, but not for Aang. For Aang, that's like
I
in
mean,
Aang's mind, those
that's
people just died, and you didn't get the
he
funeral scene or
did, but
whatever.
he's
But you
not.
got a really early on in the show too, Chris. You had a genocide that you learned about in episode 2, right? Or 3, 3, 4,
But
3.
that's not a. Oh, also, I want to mention that. Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's
But
fresh for
Avatar,
Aang.
yeah, it's frustrating. But by the end of the episode, in the beginning of the next episode, it's not really brought up. I'm not saying he's
Okay,
not dealing with it, but
so
it's
they didn't
not
present it right. But
brought
there
up.
you have the idea that just because you have the death in there, like if you don't write around it, it's not going to necessarily help anything. So go back to just okay, it could be better with more, it could be better with less, but like that's
Oh, but
plenty of
real quick,
death
I
that
also want to
was
say that
absolutely
I, I
fresh.
I do. They have other constraints as well besides just the Y7 and the channel it's on. That they have time constraints. Like they have like we have 20 episodes in one season. Like Naruto is like we got 20 episodes for this one fight.
This one
Like they
story arc,
this one, yeah.
I just like I get the crux of the question, but I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender. I wouldn't touch it. I think that the breadth of the show is part of what makes it good, and also there again, it just that's not something I care to see in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like it exactly how it is. It's not perfect. Not saying that. If you wanted to add more deaths, or if you wanted to find a place where deaths could have made things more impactful, I think Korra would have been a better place. Just for again, not for constraints, but for ultimate audience. And then also with Korra having it split into the shorter seasons, the shorter story bits, I feel like you could have had really impactful death in this season, but then in the next season, like it's not necessarily like something where you'd like lost a favorite character that then doesn't get to come back. Like I feel like when you have these different separated story arcs, it would have been maybe more palatable to have more deaths that at the time seemed really impactful, and then maybe not linger or leave like a bad taste in your mouth as long for the potential audience. So I'm gonna say
Mm.
Korra could have probably benefited and still fit within its intended audience. No, I wouldn't touch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Too broad and beautiful of a reach as it is.
See, I no, I would. I think Hakoda could have been killed. The thing is, at the end, like at the end of Harry Potter, you see the sacrifices that everyone
Harry Potter,
made
at the
to
end of
get
Harry
us to the
Potter,
finish line.
you're
Okay,
almost a
I
decade. You are almost a decade in to the viewers' relationship, right? The viewers are a decade older than they were. Avatar: The Last Airbender, you're 2.5 years older than you initially were.
I'm removing again. I'm removing these constraints. I'm
That's
saying
not
my
constraints.
question.
This like the audience. It's not a constraint. It's just the
Yeah, but
actual audience. Even if they could put it on TV or whatever, what the actual audience would be like. Not from a
I mean,
constraint standpoint.
even if you like, to me that doesn't make that big of a difference because if I binge,
If it had a lot
if I
of,
binge the Harry Potter movies, like it didn't matter to me that I just watched it or I don't know
but the
that I
majority of
watched
the
it.
Harry Potter audience watched and read along as it went. Not anymore, right? Because we're so far removed. But like you know what? In the first Harry Potter, like one person dies. Well, I guess they tell the story, but talking about being removed, but like you don't get to the crazy deaths and stuff until like the fifth book is probably where the big death. The end of the fourth book and then the fifth book, and then it kind of ramps up. So it's still like Avatar versus Korra, aging up with it, kind of, or aging into it.
All right, well, let's see. I think was there probably 6 years in between.
I don't
No,
remember off
not
the top of my
6.
head.
When how long Avatar was premiering? It may have been 5 years.
I do not
Let's see.
remember.
Wait, 2005. No, not 2005. Wait, 2005. Yeah, to 2000. Okay, maybe 4 years. Might have been 4. That feels too short. I was a I was a junior. Yes, I was a junior in college when I might have
So
been
it's
a
almost 9 years
freshman.
between the end of Korra and the beginning of Avatar. So almost a 9 year span from Avatar beginning, right? To end of Korra.
Yeah, 2005 to
I
2014.
think that sounds right as an actual
Yeah.
span. Which, roughly Harry Potter length, but there again, the idea that it elevates over time is more palatable to me. But like the first book, if the first Harry Potter book had come out with like more active deaths like during the story, I'm not saying it would have. Again, it depends on how you portray it, because as you mentioned, like we don't get the gratification that you're looking for out of the genocide. But like if it had come out with just a whole lot of deaths and stuff, it's not like parents were gonna be like, "Hey, you should go read this Harry Potter book." Like that's not a constraint. That's like a other ways it reaches the audience. Yeah, but it's not because of a rule or something. It could have impacted the audience negatively if they came out of the books, if they came out of the gate having more
Yeah.
death.
Uh, yeah, I don't say that's a big deal myself, but
I think about yourself as a
uh,
dad. No, think about yourself as a dad, right? And Mumkins candy eat a day, and like wanted to start reading Harry Potter. I don't know what age people start reading Harry Potter, but like think about book one as it is versus book one if it had like more death in it.
I
That
mean,
would
I would let her watch Naruto right now. And Naruto, like to me, that doesn't that doesn't it doesn't phase. I don't see it as being a determining factor in the length of time between things. Like I think about the story and how death affects the characters. I get your point, um, but I don't know. That's
uh,
and also the
the way I mean, it depends on how you're going to phrase the question. But I wouldn't do anything that could potentially impact the audience. All constraints
Yeah, and
aside.
like I said, I'm taking to me the audience is still a constraint, right? When I'm trying to say if it wasn't for uh kids
Well, then I'm
necessarily,
skewing my
if it
bias
was
to what I like right now as opposed to what I liked in 2005. But even right now, I don't need more deaths personally because I like Avatar because it's lighthearted. It's not a serious TV show in that sense. I don't have to. There's plenty of that stuff out
and
there.
that
So
yeah, no, that to me that's a very valid point of how it can be lighthearted, um, and be something somewhat simple you can watch besides those Apple Lost Days episodes. Uh,
yeah, that's fair. Uh,
uh, so to me, that's a fair point. Um, but
th-
when I think about strong stories hit you in certain ways that you can relate to. And granted, as an adult, the older you get, the more you deal with death, and it becomes something that's more a part of your life.
that
Becomes
to me is
something
not a
that
constraint. That's not a constraint. It is something that you deal with as you get more mature. You see it more. You handle it different.
yeah. So when you see it reflected in media, those stories can be stronger.
Could be. Could be.
Like I don't know, I'm just saying, I just when I was watching these scenes, I was like, yeah, like I'm not getting the sense of sacrifice. And I think as you get older, you think more about sacrifice.
Who
'Cause
would you kill
death is
in?
final.
There again, I
Who
would.
would I've killed? That's a good question.
Well, there again, I would agree that Korra could have used some more spice in various places, or not. Not that it could have used more. I'm going to say that it could have
It would have been more
opportune,
applicable for you.
more opportune, more palatable, better fit with the
Yeah.
tone of the story. And again, something
Yeah, it would
about
have
being
felt better.
divided into smaller seasons to me would have just made it a little less. I don't know, like more opportunities to tell those kinds of stories. But so if you say okay, yeah, there in Avatar: The Last Airbender, who are you killing? Who are you killing to make the story better?
An Avatar, um, probably
Okay,
Coda, because that would be towards the end of the series. Well, that would be right. That would be interesting because that would have happened during the Day of Black Sun. It would have weighed down on Katara and Aang. Like Aang failed again. Like he failed his father figure being killed, and now the love of his life, father being killed. I don't want to kill Iroh. Iroh is who I thought would have been killed because in my head when I was watching the show as a kid, I was a teenager. I was like, oh, Iroh is like clearly the person who's going to teach Aang. But if he can't teach Aang because he dies or something, either him or Zuko is going to teach Aang how to firebend. I for sure thought Iroh was going to be killed. So there's some messy stuff there
I don't think Hakoda
because
has that big of an impact, and that sounds horrible. Like, yeah, you can kill that guy. No, like, and you could have told it in a way and done a good job that made it have an impact. But like, that's not a ever present character that you're losing. So you know, there again, it could have a big impact, but I wouldn't argue
but you still would see Katara and Sokka dealing with that
dealing with the
loss.
loss. I would still
Like
say
like
that presenting Aang dealing with his loss would have had more of an impact than that because, like, I mean, genocide. I don't. What's bigger than genocide? You know,
yeah, but it's almost too big. It's too grand.
it's too
The
big.
reason why it's
That's too strong.
the reason why the reason why I think death would be there's more death would be interest maybe strong stories because it's relatable. We all deal with it. It raises the stakes. It shows that there are um, risk in doing these things. And this is like real life war. Like, hey, you guys want to think about how many people Iroh probably kill? No, you don't. Because I mean, people died under Iroh's. I'm getting into Iroh character assassination right now, which I'll say that for a different day.
That's a different
I love
topic for a
Iroh.
different time.
He's my favorite character from
Same.
Avatar: Last Airbender.
And
Um, but
I would
anyway, it's relatable.
I would
and adds more
kill.
stakes. And it's a little bit more realistic.
I would
So, like
kill.
what I was saying before, like having that huge, like all your people been killed before, that's not realistic. I don't know how it feels to have all black people killed. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
It just got way dark.
Chris,
It just got very
Chris Ford,
real.
the last black person.
The last black is right here on this show with me. Must be protected at all costs. I would kill. I'd kill Appa. I think you
Oh
could.
gosh, Shawn. Like, no, Shawn. I feel hurt just for you saying.
I think that.
I feel like wait. I feel like if anyone's watching, there was like, yeah, we're on Sean's side. We're on Sean. You just lost it with that.
I would kill Appa because he is one
I'm not with
character
it.
that would impact everybody in Team Avatar so strongly. Right? It's
Oh
not
man,
Katara's dad, and so it's just Aang grieving
I
through
get it.
Katara.
I
It's
get it.
not
Fathom.
Suki. I thought about Suki, but that's like, all right, there again, you're just kind of
Ooh,
grieving through
ooh,
Sokka. Appa would affect
Uh,
everyone.
ooh. You know what though? I am in something
You
no
about to
one has
kill
brought up.
Suki? Is that what's up? Having
No, but
Sokka lose all his
something
girlfriends?
yeah, something I'm missing out on is the death
Yue?
of Princess
Yue?
Yue actually
I don't know
was
how.
really good. Like
Someday I'll
that
pronounce
moment,
that right.
and I think that was done really, really strong. But it really
It was,
affected
but
like one character.
you didn't know her well enough for it to really be that strong. You met her yesterday. Now today she's
Yeah.
gone. It ain't that big of a
Like,
deal.
there's such a great moment though where her father, and this is the moments that I'm more longing for. Her father's like, when I was younger, I had a vision that my daughter became the moon. And Sokka's like, you must be really proud. He's like, I am really proud and really sad. Like that hits hard.
Okay, so see there you
But
got
but
what you
that
wanted.
was so that it got one. But that was like again, like you said, you
That's
just met UA. That was
that was
one
one thing that always
character,
bugged me about
and
her and that scene is that it's not that I wasn't tied to her. I liked the character and everything, but I
yeah,
never liked Sokka's immediate attachment to her because he met her yesterday. Like that's child's play of relationship. Sokka, grow up. So yeah, I would agree that it could be more impactful. Like if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna stand by my original argument though, because apparently you're not allowed to kill Appa, which I think would be really powerful to everybody involved. That'd be extremely moving.
no, I
Um,
wouldn't feel Alpha. I am not co-signing this.
you you don't have the guts to kill Appa. This is like
Nah.
what Bryan and Mike were going through. They're like, "Do we got to add more death in here?" They're like, "Who do you kill?" And Bryan's like, "Appa," and Mike's like,
And he got punched in the face.
just it instantly turned into Draymond Green and Jordan Poole at
Oh yeah,
practice, just
Grandma Green was
instantly.
yeah. He was
But
wrong for that.
that was filthy. That was a bad punch too, man.
Yeah.
That was
Ooh,
big.
yeah.
All I'm saying is, if I'm trying to make the story better and I'm trying to hit that grief, hit that button, nobody would
I,
hit quite like nobody outside of literally one of the main characters themselves would hit like Appa.
anyone else?
Who you
Man, what
killing?
if
Put it in the
Sokka died?
comments.
What if what if Sokka died by the end there? There was a great moment there, that I always love. That
Sokka could have, but
Sokka hold on to his heart.
you're still gonna feel that feeling of like, I don't know how to say this, and it's gonna bash Sokka, but it's not Aang, it's not Katara, it's not Zuko, it's not
I
Iroh.
think you feel it. I think you feel it hard. It's
Well,
Sokka. He's
you would, but at the
so
same
there's
time, you'd be
a
like, oh, sure, the Nonbender dies. Like, all right, whatever. You know?
but so there's interesting in Justice League. There's also a universe where the Flash died and they turned cold. Like the Flash is like the heart and the conscience of the team, and I feel like Sokka would be that. One thing I wouldn't kill a bunch of characters. I'm
No, that's
saying
why we're
I was like I would
picking
probably
discreetly or
yes
with
yeah. I'm
much
not like
discernment.
ooh who can I kill? Funny enough, people also was like Aang shouldn't kill. I'm like I didn't say Aang should kill. Like I'm
There's
just saying
something
should kill the bad guys and stuff. But
there's something about that if it were Toph or Sokka, I don't know why I was like killing the Nonbender or killing the blind girl. I don't know. That didn't. didn't feel quite right to me for some reason.
The thing
But
is, Sokka actually, out of all the characters, he probably is the most. Him and
likely to
Iroh are
die,
probably
yeah.
the most expendable. Well,
Oh,
Sokka's probably most likely to die,
like yeah,
but
like
like, cause
Sokka
they
doing
don't.
something brave, but also like recklessly not reckless because it
Ooh,
would be
yeah.
strategic, but like in a sacrifice, he
Yes.
would be the sacrifice fly of
Yes.
deaths.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I don't,
I think I would rather kill Sokka than Appa
well, I would
in
rather
the
kill Sokka
story.
than Appa. That's not a fair question. A big floofy flying puppy
Someone's going to
dog.
comment on here. When it comes to we're probably running a little long here. Just let me know if you need to wrap up.
I
In
mean,
Legend of Korra,
sooner the better. I gotta hit
okay.
some diapers, but yeah,
Uh, yeah,
we
in
gotta
Legend of
talk about
Korra,
Korra killing who we killing there too, though. Yeah,
um,
Mako.
probably Hakoda. Uh,
I'm
let's
killing
cut Mako
Mako.
some slack, I think.
No, you know what? We've been
Don't
through a
do
lot. He's touched a lot of
that.
lives. He's kind of gone a little bit guy you root for, guy you root against. Like he's had some ups and downs, but like at some point in Mako's arc, he's gonna have appealed to a lot of different people and hit a lot of different people.
Mm.
And yeah, I think. And
The
also, I don't want to kill Bolin, so
Lynn had a very sacrificial moment when she gave herself up to Amon, and you probably could just rewrite that to like Amon being like, "No, I'm sending a message," and he kills her. But I wouldn't do that because I love all the other character stuff that Lynn's have in
yeah.
season 3 and 4,
No,
and
there again,
I need that stuff. That would be too big of a sacrifice.
I think you got to hit somebody from like a more immediate team
Mm.
avatar, and so I'm
Would it
going
be Tenzin?
Tenzin would be powerful, right? That would hit.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Tenzin, he's like the dad figure that
You know
commands
what,
respect, you know.
Tenzin? Yeah, Tenzin could have died in season 3.
And he's
There
got
was
the
a while that
kids.
we
That
weren't sure if Tenzin was gonna live or not. Remember, he was getting the crap beat out of him
and that.
by the Red
Oh
Lotus.
yeah, he could have died. But and then that that would have
I
been
love
really
Tenzin.
painful
Tenzin.
to watch and like watching him leave behind the kids, or whatever. But that to me feels like a more appropriate like tone of show and place in the show and character and like with the audience that you're most likely dealing with. Like that to me feels like a more acceptable way to punch your viewers right in the emotional gut with that, and I don't think it would have,
Ooh,
and I
and
think it would have
then the
benefited.
next season. So the next season,
Oh, we
the
killing off one a
reemergence of
season now. Huh?
Airbender.
Dang.
No, 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 no. I'm just saying the next season, his kids have to deal with leading this new Air Nation
His
without
kids
him.
that people, how do I say this? People love his kids maybe more than I don't know how to say that. I like his kids too, but as characters, people tie themselves really hard to Tenzin's kids. And so I think the fact that they're different and you've got several to choose from, I think a lot of people would have like kind of grieved through his children and been touched by that
Yeah.
in different ways.
And I think all three of them would have handled it differently, which
Yeah.
will be really interesting because everyone handles death differently. Like
So
that might have been so
that,
interesting. But
and at that part in that season, in that moment, I think that would have been good. I can totally get on
man,
board with that being a high impact.
and Korra would have went missing.
Oof.
They would have been holy crap. That's
too
rough.
strong. That's too no, that's
But no, I think
that
out
fits
of
the
all of
tone.
them,
That
yeah,
fits
I
the
probably
type of
wouldn't kill
story.
Hakoda. I probably would have killed Tenzin. Because if you kill Hakoda and Tenzin, it's like, all right, this is just too much. You don't want to do too much.
I don't
death
really
because,
want to kill Hakoda, but there again, I think he's just
there was
not
just that
as
moment there
present.
where
I'm aiming for something a little bigger.
yeah. So
Like,
I'm and wrap it up. I would, if I had to kill one character that I think would help the story. I wouldn't say help the story.
we all took a
would drop-
vote and we decided that if Tenzin died, better story.
I think I love and things. Holy crap! I love Tenzin. The moment that him in Air Temple Island talking about dad, like your dream is like that's one of my top 5 moments of either show. I love Tenzin as a character. Anyway, that's our thoughts.
Yep. Mark me down for no and then yes in that order. But
Mark me
again,
down for yes and yes, but not a lot, people. I'm not saying this should be Game of Thrones. I'm just saying have a little bit more.
I'm going back to the original statement. It's like, it could be better if you killed it. It could be better if you killed less. It just depends on how you frame it. I've never thought
When I
about it
kill less,
before.
I'm surprised you're saying. I'm surprised you're saying Avatar would be better if you kill less, because really they
No,
would
I
just
said
not be
could.
killing Jet.
I'm just pointing out. It's like all because the genocide.
No,
I've never thought about it until
oh,
today.
oh, never mind, never
They
mind.
could
Okay,
have
okay.
framed that. They could have framed that in sort of a more. He could have had some kind of ceremony for Gyatso specifically, or some. You know, they could have framed that differently and maybe delivered a little more of what you wanted. Or Yue could have been introduced, or they could have had the same amount of death and framed it differently and created. So I'm just saying it could be better with more.
Okay.
Could be better without more. You know, whatever. But in general, put me down for no and yes. Good topic. I liked thinking about it. I liked.
I like that we disagree about it.
It's always nice when we can like actually have entertainingly different viewpoints. Even if we all settled on killing Tenzin, which just makes me feel bad. Like we just killed a father, Chris. We killed a dad, just for our own amusement. No, we killed it for character growth. It builds character.
Strongest.
Killing off dads builds character. Hey,
I mean, honestly, there's a bunch of characters with daddy gone issues. Batman,
absolutely. This would fit right in.
Aang. It sadly is a trope in.
Well,
it dates
we've
back
got some mama gone and daddy gone issues. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Hey, tell us your thoughts in the comments, and then more specifically, because we are people who like solutions, right? Give us the rationale, but more importantly, tell us what you would do. Would it be Tenzin? Would it be apparently not Appa? That's off limits, I hear. Tell us who you would and why that's going to deliver the impact if your answer is yes, or if you wouldn't. Give us that too. Great topic, Chris. Great choice. Should be good for next week. My name's Shawn. It's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. Chris, I'm gonna go change some baby diapers, and I'm gonna change shirts, I suppose, and get on with my life. Unless there's poop. If there's poop, I'm gonna
Make sure you wash your hands.
Gonna do.
Pretty sure I got pink eye early on with my kids because I wasn't washing my hands often enough. Make sure you wash your hands.
I know that it's probably gonna happen because if you change a diaper in the middle of the night, right, and you might not even think there is poop, but you do a wipe and then you're tired, you wipe your face. It's gonna happen to me most likely because I'm not cognizant when I'm
open
tired.
your eyelid.
Yeah. But at least I, work from home, so hopefully I won't spread my pink eye to other humans when it inevitably happens. Take care out there, parents and also non-parents, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. I'm going to go ahead and spoil the outro, too. Good timing. Man, somewhere out there, somebody's like, music's my favorite part.
In fact, they just listen to the first 20 seconds and fast forward to the last 20 seconds.